This is Dr. S, and we're continuing our discussion about tool design. Because remember, we're designing a tool, and an important part of this tool design is you want it to work for what the intended purpose is. So, if you remember when I showed you the demonstration of the gutter cleaning tool, it just didn't work very well because of the post, the rod was too wobbly and it couldn't be controlled. So we have to think about these things, and even the simplest tools. So even things we use in the kitchen and around the house, not all tools are created equal. So it's how well do they achieve that purpose that we've defined. We define a function. How well do we achieve it? So we had talked about the pizza cutters was the first part. So I'm a barbecue person. I love to use my grill when the temperatures get warm. So, good grilling tools are very important to me because I like to make, I like to use my grill. So, we're going to talk about some different grilling tools because not all grilling tools are created equal. So, here it's tongs, right? My little tongs, and I use that. I got my steak, and I'm going to tong it out. So I've got two different pair. I've got this pair and I got this pair, and we'll talk about them both, the pros and cons of them both. So this one's got these traditional laminated plastic handles. When it rests like this. So we had to add a zip tie to hang it up. So we hang it up on a little rack. We added a zip tie to it to hang this guy up. So it rests in this kind of position is what it does. So, and that's not too bad. It takes up a little bit of space, but not too bad on there. The biggest flaws here, so it's got the traditional kind of like forks at the end, and they're kind of small. So what happens is, let's say you got like a hamburger, and you're cooking hamburgers, and that's ground beef. Because it's small, it's going to dig into a real small part of that burger and crumble it. So if I got a hamburger and I'm trying to grab that, I'm actually going to penetrate right through that meat, that burger, because it's so small. It's just going to it'd be like shooting a nail through it almost. So it's going to penetrate it, and it's going to cause it to break apart, and that's not cool. We don't want to break apart our burger, and we don't have to want to make them into charcoal briquettes and overcook them to keep that from happening. So that is a big flaw, is just the size of these teeth are just way too small. Another even more important flaw here is look how flimsy this dude is. So that's not very strong at all. And if I'm grabbing things, see, if I try and grab something here, it's just not going to get a very good grip on it because it's so flimsy. And if I got any kind of meat that's got kind of that's like a ribs or maybe a piece of chicken, it's not going to be able to hold it very well, and I'm going to drop it on the ground, and I'm not going to be very happy to lose my steak. So you can see, yeah, it's a pair of tongs, and it'll do it, but it really doesn't do it very well. So these ones aren't very good. So here's my other pair. And you hang it up like this, you pull this out, and then it's got a little hanging hook, and you just hang it up right there. See how nice and slender this is. Really slender when you hang it, and that's pretty cool. Very rigid, very strong, so I can grab that nice thick steak, and it's going to be okay. It doesn't bend, it doesn't deflect. See that? It gets a good grip on there. It's not slipping or anything. And part of that is this design here. So it's more like a spoon instead of a little fork. So you got a lot more area for these teeth to grab on each side. So I'm grabbing that burger. I'm grabbing a big piece and not just a little piece. So it's not going to penetrate. It's not going to break apart on there. Nice rubber handles here. And it's even got a little indent where your thumb and finger go, which is kind of cool. So your hands get a little greasy from the meat or from your sauce. It's okay because my thumb actually's got a little spot for it to go. So that helps you keep a grip on the tong. So very cool. Um, and these are more expensive, obviously, than those ones are. These are a little bit more better design. The only issue I have with these tongs is sometimes that'll happen when I'm using them. I'll accidentally pop this up, and when I do that, it closes my tongs out. So that's a little bit of a design flaw, but again, it does hang nice, and everything else about these is so superior that it's okay. You know, it's a flaw. It should be improved. A little bit of improvement on this. Maybe some kind of mechanism that once you open it up, it like latches it in place, and then you flip that back open to pop it up. So that because this is just too easy. You know, once I've got that closed, it's just a little bit too easy to open that. Uh, and so maybe something that would latch over there would be a little bit of a design improvement to make these guys even better. But these are great, great tongs. Those are my favorite ones. Those are the ones I use all the time. And next we got, well, these are actually flippers, but people call them spatulas. So for the sake of discussion, we'll call them a spatula. So I've got two of them. I've got this nice copper one, and that's a companion piece to my tongs. And then I've got this other one. So we'll talk about this one here first, the copper one. So this is your traditional one. Nice big head here, so I can get underneath my burger. If I gotta pull my burger off, that's fine. So I use this with the tongs, and I'll grab my burger and flip it over. Nice handle here. So this is a rubberized handle. This is wonderful because your hands get sweaty, they get grease on them, they get barbecue sauce on them, and it helps it keeps it in your hand. It's good and firm. Works well. I'm left-handed. Works well for the left-handed person as well as the right-handed person. So it works either way. Hangs up very nice. Got a little hanger. So it hangs up right next to my tongs, which is really, really cool. So this is a really well engineered, well built barbecuing tool, actually. And it's a little more expensive, but that's okay. We don't mind paying for quality. And so that's the thing you got to think about is just because the tool is cheaper, people are willing to pay for a quality tool. If the tool is of good quality, they will pay more to have something that works than buy something cheap that doesn't work. So then I got this bad boy, and it's pretty rigid and solid. It's got that traditional plastic laminate handle. So don't really like that as much. This handle's a little more rounded. This is a little more square, but it's slick. So this thing's going to go flying out of my hand if I get greasy. Another thing about this one is it has these serrated edges. It's got a rough serration and a fine serration on two sides. So this hurts. When I touch the side of this, it actually is painful because it's serrated. I assume that serration is if I have to cut a piece of meat, that I can cut it. Or maybe if I got like a corn on the cob or something, and I need to like cut the end of it off or something. This looks like a little bottle opener. Open your can of soda up. Your bottle of soda. With this little thing, that's what it looks like, a little bottle opener. But that's a fundamental design flaw of this is I don't know what these are used for. There's nothing intuitive about what these two serrated edges and this bottle opener looking thing is supposed to be used for. I think that's what it's for, but I don't know. And that's a real issue. When you design something, you want to make it, keep it simple. Stand. You want to use the KISS principle. You want to make it intuitive that people can pick this up and go, I know exactly what I'm supposed to do with this. If you don't know what you're supposed to do with this and I got to read instructions, I got a problem. So on this one, if I'm just using it this way, it's okay, but I have no idea why. And the fact that this does hurt if I touch it, I'm not inclined to use this particular tool, just because if I like accidentally brush up against it, it's gonna hurt. It's painful. So that's our exploration of barbecue tools. And I thank you for joining me for this segment. And on the next segment, we will continue our exploration of kitchen gadgets and tools and uh, some of the issues that you encounter when you're designing and using tools. Thank you, and we'll see you then.